Hello, Formula One fans. There's a driver who's really on thin ice right now. After a disastrous streak and lots of controversy, it seems like Red Bull's patience has reached its limit. But what no one expected was the bold response from the driver himself. And there's more. With issues that likely won't be resolved for another 2 years, Verstappen's dominance might be hanging by a thread. They're eating dust from their rivals, and the situation behind the scenes is pure chaos. Speaking of Verstappen, Max has been given a secret mission by Red Bull to crush Lando Norris's dreams. The engineers have a new plan to win the battle that's become the main focus in the paddock. Will he be able to shatter the ambitions of the rival who's breathing down his neck? The news in the Formula One world is heating up, so don't waste time. Subscribe to the channel to stay on top of all the latest F1 updates. Just hit the subscribe button below the video. It's quick, free, and no registration required. This is F1 Fastline News, your daily Formula One news channel. Let's get straight to the point. Sergio Perez, the Mexican driver who earned Red Bull's trust a few years ago, is once again in the spotlight, and not for good reasons. Rumors that he's about to retire have gained traction over the past few weeks, with many suggesting that an official announcement might come before the Mexican Grand Prix in October. But is there any truth to it, or are we just witnessing another wave of baseless speculations? Well, Checo didn't take it lying down. With good humor and a touch of sarcasm, he shot back at these rumors in a way that only someone who really feels secure in the cockpit would. He shared a clip from the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, with Leonardo DiCaprio shouting, "I'm not leaving, I'm not leaving." Perez even included 6 laughing emojis, showing that he's handling the pressure and rumors the best way possible, laughing it off. But why do these rumors keep surfacing? The answer is simple: performance. And in Red Bull's world, performance is everything. Even Christian Horner, the team principal, has admitted that Checo has been underperforming. And that's the real turning point for the discussion. Last season, Perez fulfilled his role as a solid second driver and significantly contributed to the Constructors' Championship. However, 2024 has been a very different story. Perez finished 10th at the Singapore GP, earning just a single point. This, in a weekend where Max Verstappen also struggled, raising even more questions about the competitiveness of the RB20, the car that should have been the most dominant on the grid. What we're seeing now is a Red Bull that's lost its spot as the favorite for the Constructors' Championship to McLaren and is struggling to keep Verstappen ahead in the Drivers' Championship. Perez has already expressed frustration with his car's performance, claiming that the issues he pointed out earlier are only now being taken seriously because Verstappen has faced difficulties as well. And that's a serious criticism. For a driver to feel like his concerns are being ignored until the team's #1 driver has similar problems, it's a clear sign that something's not right behind the scenes. Recently, after the Monza GP, some Red Bull engineers even apologized to Perez, acknowledging that there was indeed a technical issue affecting his performance. And this raises a very important question. Is Perez truly underperforming? Or is he being held back by a car designed solely to suit Verstappen's driving style? Here's a question worth asking. Why is Perez still at Red Bull if the results aren't coming in? Christian Horner made a point of highlighting that Red Bull has been patient with Perez, something we didn't see with Verstappen's former teammates like Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, who were quickly discarded when they couldn't keep up with the Dutchman's pace. And here's the crucial point: stability. Perez was hired to bring stability to the team and help secure the Constructors' Championship, something he achieved in 2023. But in 2024, that stability is no longer there. Horner emphasized that Red Bull's system is all about results, and right now, anyone who doesn't deliver is at risk of being cut. So, how long will Red Bull's patience with Perez last? Many say Perez already has one foot out the door and that his continued presence only depends on a formal announcement. But Checo himself doesn't seem the least bit worried about it. He's playing with the cards he's been dealt, and it looks like he doesn't plan on stepping aside anytime soon. He signed a 2-year contract extension in June, which indicates that he's still part of Red Bull's plans, at least in the short term. But of course, everything can change quickly in Formula One. With young prospects from Red Bull's development program eyeing a return to the main team, Perez knows he needs to improve, and fast. The question is, does he have what it takes to turn things around in time? Shifting gears. Red Bull and Verstappen are facing years of disadvantage ahead, and this comes straight from Helmut Marko himself. After the Singapore GP, where Max managed to secure a second place that felt more like a victory, Marco made it clear that Verstappen's performance was the best the team could achieve on that challenging circuit. Marco mentioned in an interview that Charles Leclerc was faster than Verstappen during the final stint of the race, which could have jeopardized even that P2 finish. This sends a warning. Red Bull's dominance is no longer as assured as it seemed a few months ago. In fact, if Lando Norris wins all the remaining races and sprints while Verstappen keeps finishing second, the title would still belong to the Dutchman. But here's the kicker. Is just finishing second enough? Marco was straight to the point. Just finishing second is not good enough. And I agree with him. We're talking about a team used to crushing the competition, aiming for the top in every corner and straightaway. So why, all of a sudden, is P2 becoming the goal? Well, the answer might lie in behind-the-scenes changes. Since the announcement of Adrian Newey's departure, the aerodynamics wizard and the genius behind much of Red Bull's success, the team seems to have lost that final magic touch with the car. Even though Marco says Red Bull has a broad and well-structured team capable of absorbing Newey's exit, there's a lingering question. Will future cars maintain the same level of excellence? The impact of Newey's absence might already be felt. After all, it was after his departure that we saw Lando Norris's McLaren gain so much ground and gradually become the fastest car on the grid. Coincidence? I think not. Marco tried to reassure fans, saying Newey will still be with the team until March next year, but the genius is no longer involved in the car's current development, and we all know how much every detail matters in Formula One. Marco knows that McLaren isn't just competing, they're hungry for victories. Norris's win at the Singapore GP, with an impressive 21-second gap over Verstappen, was a clear warning. Marco didn't mince words and issued the big challenge, stating that if Max doesn't win at least 2 of the next 6 races, the Drivers' Championship could be at risk. This puts enormous pressure on Red Bull, who is still struggling to find the necessary pace to fight back against McLaren and regain control. And there's more. The performance gap between Verstappen and Sergio Perez is glaring. While Max is fighting tooth and nail to maintain his lead, Perez has been experiencing a worrying decline, especially in the second half of the season. No wonder Red Bull is 40 points behind in the Constructors' Championship. For a team used to dominating, watching its main rival take the lead must be hard to swallow. The next challenge will be the United States Grand Prix in Austin. This is where Red Bull needs to make a statement. Verstappen has won the last 3 races at the Circuit of the Americas, but with McLaren at the peak of its form and Mercedes and Ferrari showing improvements, Verstappen's dominance at the Texas track is far from guaranteed. Going back to Singapore, what we saw was a Verstappen fighting more with the car's characteristics than with his rivals. The RB19, which once seemed like a rocket on any track, faced serious difficulties. And this, coupled with McLaren's exponential growth, could jeopardize the dream of a perfect season for Max. Although he remains the absolute favorite for the title, could we see a less dominant Verstappen in the final races of the year? And we can't forget, Red Bull needs to sort this out quickly because their rivals aren't sitting idle. Ferrari, for example, has shown signs of improvement with Leclerc closing in on Verstappen's times. And when we talk about Mercedes, who are striving to get back to the top, this competition could become even fiercer in 2024. I know it's tough for fans to accept that Red Bull might be entering a sabbatical period for a few years, but the truth is that if there isn't a strong and swift response, Verstappen's dominance could turn into a series of almosts. With Lando Norris and McLaren gaining so much ground and other teams catching up, the 2024 season could turn into a true battlefield where any mistake will be fatal. And there's more. Newey's departure isn't just a technical blow, it's a psychological hit for Red Bull. Knowing that the genius who designed the team's most successful cars won't be around anymore can cause doubts, uncertainties, and even a lack of confidence in the project. Marco says the structure is broad and competent, but I ask, how many teams could quickly recover from a loss like this? So, what do you think? Can Red Bull bounce back and end the season on a high? Or are we witnessing the beginning of the decline of one of the most dominant eras in Formula One? And as for Sergio Perez, does he still have a place in the team? Or is retirement really lurking around the corner? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear what you think. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Here we talk about Formula One without beating, around the bush with strong opinions and lots of information. Subscribe to the most passionate Formula One channel, hit the bell, and join this community of enthusiastic fans. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow Formula One fans. Let's make this community of Formula One fans grow even more. See you next time, speeding towards victory.